It's always somebody else's fault. You blame somebody else because that need, I've got a need now for perfection. Because why? My ego says I need to be right. I need to be right within myself. And until we empty ourselves and realize that we're empty and seek after the righteousness of God, we'll always be blaming someone else. One of the great illustrations in the Bible was about Joseph. You remember the story in Genesis 37 through 50, where he sold into slavery by his brothers because they were so jealous of him. And for years, he spent time in Egypt. He went to prison at one point, got out of prison, and because he could interpret dreams and was so blessed of God, that he was promoted to second in the kingdom. And when the famine came all throughout the land, people would come to Joseph and get food because he was wise enough to save up so much because he knew what was going to happen. God had revealed that to him. The famine was coming. So his brothers showed up one time, and they didn't even recognize him. It had been so long. And he sent them back. He toyed with them again. And finally, he just said, "Don't you recognize me? I'm Joseph. I'm your brother." And immediately, you can imagine, they got pretty scared. He was the second most powerful man in the world at that time. They sold him to slavery. He's going to kill us all. But he said, "Hey, don't be afraid. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." Here's a man that was filled with the righteousness of God because he recognized that the things that were happening in life were happening for a reason, and God's hand was upon the situation. When you're talking about your relationship with God and relationship with people, I think our relationship with God, even though we try to complicate it a lot, is a lot easier to deal with